ASICS Superblast, one of the most popular running shoes, has a new version, the Superblast 2. Let's review it. Hey everyone, and welcome back on the channel. My name is Alex, and in today's video we have a treat. We have the review of the brand new ASICS Superblast 2. Remember, the Superblast was released late 2022, and it was a shoe that no one really expected, no one really knew what to think about, and yet it became probably the most popular running shoe of 2023, early 2024. Everyone is basically taking this as a reference for the up-tempo category, but even for the daily trainer category, people refer to the Superblast as being the king of running shoes. I logged a ton of mileage on this shoe, on the Superblast 1, in 2023 during my Tokyo Marathon training block, and that's also one of the reasons why I was so excited about the Superblast 2. This is the launch colorway releasing on July 5th for 220 euros. I did run quite a bit in the Superblast 2 already, but not in this colorway, in a prototype version that I cannot show you. Yet I have many opinions, and let's dive into them right now. Alright, let's start this review with a very quick comparison in terms of specs only between the two shoes. We'll go into the differences between the two rides in a few minutes, but for the specs, stack height has dropped by 0.5 millimeters, going from 45.5 millimeters in the Superblast down to 45 millimeters, still an illegal running shoe. 8 millimeters drop, 8 millimeters drop, meaning that this one has a 37.5 millimeters of stack in the forefoot, 37 millimeters of stack height in the forefoot for the Superblast 2. Weight, 270 grams in my size US 11, 267 grams, so 3 grams less in the Superblast 2, still in my size US 11 EU 45. The upper was an engineered mesh on the Superblast. It's now an engineered woven mesh on the Superblast 2. Midsoles, 2 layers, Flight Foam Turbo on the top layer for the Superblast, Flight Foam Turbo Plus on the top layer for the Superblast 2. Bottom layer of midsole, that stabilizing layer, was Flight Foam Blast Plus on the Superblast, and now Flight Foam Blast Plus Eco on the Superblast 2. So technically the same compound for the bottom layer with the Eco version, so more recycled material in the Superblast 2. Outsole, still ASICS grip in the two shoes, and price point 220 euros. It hasn't changed from the Superblast to the Superblast 2. With this comparison out of the way, let's go into the actual review. We'll refer to the Superblast in the review. But yeah, let's just keep this one for now. How's the upper? How's the fit? Like I said, the upper went from an engineered mesh to an engineered woven mesh. It feels a bit more thick. It feels a bit more welcoming, a bit more comfortable, but it loses that lightweight feeling, that feeling of having nothing on top of your foot. However, the good news is that the fit is more of a true to size fit compared to the Superblast, the OG Superblast. The OG Superblast was, for me, a shoe that you should have taken half a size down. This one is a true to size fit, and it's good news. The tongue has also been slightly upgraded with a bit more padding at the top of it. Not a huge deal, and definitely not the biggest upgrade between the OG Superblast and this shoe, but nevertheless something that I should mention. Let's go into the midsole, into the ride, and into how I will be using this shoe, because yes, I will keep on using it like the OG Superblast. Like I said, the new midsole is now a top layer of Flight Foam Turbo Plus, just like in the Metaspeed Paris series, the Metaspeed Sky Paris and the Metaspeed Edge Paris. This is a slightly more lightweight type of midsole compound, slightly more bouncy as well. Small numbers, 6 or 10% increase in terms of bounciness, same type of percentage in terms of weight reduction, so nothing dramatic. But nevertheless, you can feel it. The bottom layer is a Flight Foam Blast Plus Eco midsole, so that same midsole compound more or less as in the bottom layer of the OG Superblast, but now with a bit more recycled material, 24% of recycled material in that midsole compound. How's the ride? What are the differences? I do feel like the new Superblast 2 is a bit more dense underfoot, slightly firmer, just a tad firmer, nothing too dramatic again. Very consistent in terms of ride. It feels a bit more bouncy. It feels a bit more reminiscent of the Nova Blast 4 if you have tried that shoe. It also feels surprisingly like you have a bit more stack height under your foot compared to the OG Superblast. I feel like the OG Superblast was starting to bottom out at the end of my run, also with the mileage increasing on that shoe. I have that feeling way less in this shoe. You cannot really bottom out in the Superblast 2. You have a bit more density underfoot, a bit more material underfoot, which is very pleasant for me, especially in the forefoot. And like I said, a bit more bounciness. It's a shoe that feels a bit more springy, whereas the OG Superblast felt like a shoe that was transitioning a bit better from heel to toe and wasn't springing as much, wasn't releasing as much energy, but was, floating a bit more, if that makes sense. It feels like I'm describing a huge difference. At the end of the day, to be honest, it isn't. It's two very similar rides. I'm just trying to separate them and to make you also understand, give you the best possible image of how the two rides differ, because I know many of you are expecting this review, and therefore I hope that I can describe with my own words as best as I can the differences. How am I going to use this shoe? I would say, surprisingly, that although it's lighter and although that colorway makes you want to go fast, I feel overall like this shoe is probably more suited for me for slightly slower paces compared to the OG Superblast. And that's again due to that increase in bounciness. I prefer to have something a bit more naturally rolling from heel to toe when I increase my paces. This shoe is a bit more of a bouncy ride, but not in a fast way, more in a pleasant cruising type of way. And therefore I feel like if I had to change the way I'm using my Superblast, which is not necessarily going to be the case, I would maybe lower a bit the paces I'm taking this shoe at compared to the OG Superblast. Again, I feel like this is a bit of a hair-picking difference, because at the end of the day, the two shoes feeling quite similar, I would probably keep on using it for many, many different rides, many different purposes in my training regimen. And like I was describing the OG Superblast, a shoe that you can just take out for a weekend or for a week of vacation and do everything in, the Superblast 2 is going to be very similar to that older brother, older sister. And you can still pack the Superblast 2, go on a week of vacation, and be worry-free for all of your training sessions. Also, ASICS grip, as you can see, this one is unused because, like I said, this is the launch colorway I haven't run in. I run in the prototype colorway. Not a big difference. I would say that surprisingly, again, despite the loss in weight, 3 grams difference, which is nothing, to be honest, there is a bit more outsole coverage, especially here in the heel, which is a good thing because that's the only area where my OG Superblast was a bit worn. So if that increases the durability of an already very good durability in the OG Superblast, kudos to ASICS. Price point 220 euros, and yes, it's still that killer shoe. Once you have used your Superblast, put it in the shelf and go pick a Superblast 2, because at the end of the day, despite the small changes, despite the small differences, it is still an excellent shoe, and a shoe that many runners can rely on for their training day in and day out. Good job, ASICS. I'm very happy to have this shoe and to be using it in the coming month myself. Thanks a lot for watching. Enjoy your run today. Enjoy your ride. Go beyond your limits. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, any differences I haven't covered with the Superblast. I'm very happy to go into. And let's link to the review of the OG Superblast, of course, right here. Thanks for watching.